The Epstein Files is
insane?
a multinational child and woman trafficking ring. Why are you acting like you have no idea what's happening here? And they're not following the law.
You know, a guy like this loser, Massie, he's a real loser. Some psychiatrist ought to go see him. Even a really great book, they just vote no. I don't know what it is. I think they get good publicity. They really don't. They hurt the country.
Trump just turned on one of his own Republican congressmen, and what he said is absolutely devastating. Representative Thomas Massie demanding Epstein files be released, standing with Democrats to force transparency, and Trump losing it completely. Called Massie a loser. Said some psychiatrist ought to go see him. Attacked him publicly for doing exactly what Trump promised during campaign. Release the files. Show everything. Drain the swamp. But now that Trump is president and has power to release files, he's hiding them. Breaking federal law. And when Republican congressman demands compliance, Trump turns against him, insults him, tries to destroy him, because Epstein files are existential threat. And Trump will attack anyone, including his own party, to keep them buried. But real quick, before we get into this, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built John Brown Show to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe because you might think you are but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. All right, let's get into what actually happened, because Trump's attack on Massie reveals everything. Epstein Files Transparency Act became law November 19, 2025, required Department of Justice to release files by December 19th, 1 month deadline, clear legal requirement, no ambiguity, and December 19th came and went. DOJ released tiny fraction of files, maybe 1%, rest still hidden, still redacted, still being covered up. Federal government breaking law that Congress passed and Trump signed. Share this video with everyone you know because Massie led effort to pass this law. Republican congressman from Kentucky, libertarian leaning, doesn't follow party line blindly, actually reads legislation, actually cares about accountability, and he worked with Democrat Ro Khanna to force vote on Epstein Files Transparency Act. They used discharge petition, brought it to floor, got bipartisan support. Overwhelming majority voted yes. Trump signed it, became law. Think about what that means. Massie did what Trump claimed he wanted: transparency, accountability, exposing corruption, draining swamp, all the things Trump campaigned on, and now Trump is attacking him for it. Because transparency was always lie. Accountability was always performance. Trump never intended to release files, never planned to expose anyone, just used it as campaign talking point. And when someone actually tries to enforce it, Trump destroys them. Reporter asked Trump directly about why files aren't being released, why Justice Department is violating law, and Trump's response was, attack Massie personally, said he's a loser, real loser. That psychiatrist ought to go see him, that he votes no on everything, gets publicity by hurting country. That's Trump's defense for breaking federal law. Insult the congressman demanding compliance, attack his mental health, deflect to unrelated votes. Make sure you're subscribed to John Brown Show because Trump's insult about psychiatrists is disgusting for multiple reasons. First, millions of Americans see mental health professionals. That's normal. That's healthy. Doesn't disqualify anyone from doing their job, doesn't make their policy positions less valid. Trump stigmatizing mental health care shows how backward he is, how cruel he is. And second, Massie doesn't even see psychiatrists. Trump just made it up as insult, as way to demean someone demanding he follow law. Here's what Trump is really afraid of: why he's hiding files, why he's breaking law. Reports say Marjorie Taylor Greene asked Trump directly why he wasn't releasing files. And Trump on speakerphone that multiple people heard said it would hurt his friends. That's Trump admitting files contain damaging information about people he's protecting, about people in his orbit, about people who have leverage over him. Think about what that means. Trump isn't protecting survivors, isn't protecting national security, isn't protecting legitimate privacy concerns. He's protecting friends, protecting associates, protecting himself, because Trump's connection to Epstein is well documented. Photos together, flight logs, parties at Mar-a-Lago. Epstein recruited girls from Mar-a-Lago. Trump said Epstein likes women on younger side, praised him publicly. They were friends for years, and files would expose all of it. And Kash Patel testified under oath to Congress that DOJ reviewed all files in spring 2025, found no co-conspirators, said everything was clean, but now suddenly there are millions of pages they haven't reviewed, haven't released, need more time to process. That's contradiction, that's lie. Either they reviewed everything and found nothing, which means release it, or they didn't review everything, which means Patel perjured himself. Can't be both. Share this video because Epstein survivor Haley Robson sent letter to federal judge asking for special master to force government compliance. She's asking for most basic documents, things that shouldn't even be controversial. Hundreds of thousands of pages of emails from 2018 and 2019 investigations. Bloomberg News already has these emails. They're already public to media. So why not release to everyone? What's being hidden? Think about what Robson is requesting. Victim interview statements from 2007 Florida investigation. FBI 302 forms where survivors described their trauma. Gave detailed accounts to help prosecution. They're asking for their own statements back. Things they said, their words about what happened to them. And DOJ is refusing. Is hiding survivors' own testimony from survivors. That's how bad cover-up is. She's also asking for 51-page draft indictment and 82-page prosecution memo from 2007 Florida investigation. Documents DOJ created to justify prosecution, then buried as part of non-prosecution agreement. Sweetheart deal that let Epstein walk. Those documents show what prosecutors knew, what evidence they had, what crimes could have been charged, and they're keeping it secret, protecting perpetrators instead of survivors. And Robson's letter to judge is devastating. She wrote, as survivors, this failure is not merely procedural, it is deeply personal. Continued non-compliance perpetuates same secrecy that allowed these crimes to continue unchecked for years. You are doing same thing. You are perpetuating it with secrecy. It reinforces painful and all too familiar message that while law governs ordinary people, it does not govern government and wealthy, powerful individuals whose actions enabled widespread abuse. And that's exactly what this is about. Two-tiered justice system. One set of rules for powerful, another for everyone else. Epstein died in federal custody under suspicious circumstances. Ghislaine Maxwell convicted and sentenced. But clients who paid for trafficking, who abused girls, who enabled Ring, they're all protected. Files hidden, names redacted. No accountability, no consequences. Think about what survivors are asking for. They're not seeking vengeance, not demanding executions, not calling for mob justice. They want transparency, want accountability, want equal application of law, want what Congress promised them through Epstein Files Transparency Act, and that's minimum. Absolute minimum government can do for survivors. Release documents, tell truth, follow law. And Trump won't even do that, and commentators are trying to minimize this. Scott Jennings on CNN said, let's not get our knickers in a twist. Like this is trivial matter, like child sex trafficking ring involving powerful people across multiple countries and decades is no big deal. And Lee McGowan from Midas Touch destroyed him, said, let's not get our knickers in a twist over child rape. Why are you talking like that? It's insane. This is multinational, multi-generational child and woman sex trafficking ring. Your attitude is horrifying. Make sure you're subscribed to John Brown Show because McGowan is right. This isn't partisan issue. Isn't about protecting Democrats or Republicans. It's about justice, about accountability, about preventing this from happening again. If files bring down Democrats, bring them down. If they bring down Republicans, bring them down. If they bring down princes, world leaders, Hollywood people, bring them down. Everyone who participated needs to face consequences. Trump's behavior proves guilt. Innocent people don't act like this. Don't hide evidence. Don't break laws to keep secrets. Don't attack congressmen demanding transparency. If Trump had nothing to hide, he'd release files. Would prove critics wrong? Would show he's serious about fighting trafficking. But instead, he's covering up, using DOJ to violate federal law, protecting unnamed friends. That's behavior of guilty person, of accomplice, of someone with everything to lose. Think about what this means for Trump's credibility. He campaigned on draining swamp, on exposing corruption, on holding elites accountable. Entire 2016 campaign was about Hillary's emails, about transparency, about following law, and now he's doing exact opposite, hiding emails, blocking transparency, breaking law, and attacking anyone who demands accountability. Every promise was lie, every claim was projection, and DOJ is complicit. They're supposed to be independent, supposed to follow law regardless of president's preferences, but Pam Bondi is running cover for Trump, refusing to release files, claiming they need more time, making excuses, violating statute that has clear deadline. That's corruption, that's obstruction, that's Attorney General choosing loyalty to president over duty to law. Share this with everyone because court could fix this. Judge could appoint special master like Robson requested, independent attorney who would review files, determine what can be released, override DOJ's redactions, force compliance with law, and that's what survivors are asking for. Not asking for favor, not requesting special treatment, just asking judge to enforce law that Congress passed, to make government follow rules that apply to everyone else. Think about what happens if special master is appointed. They'd have access to everything, all emails, all interviews, all evidence, all documents DOJ is hiding, and they'd make determinations based on law, not politics, not protecting powerful people, not covering for Trump, just following statute, releasing what law requires. And that terrifies Trump, terrifies everyone being protected, because truth would come out, names would be revealed, crimes would be exposed. Trump's attack on Massie is also stupid politically. Massie is popular with libertarian conservatives, with people who actually care about limited government and accountability. Trump attacking him alienates those voters, makes them question why Trump is so desperate to hide files, makes them wonder what he's protecting, and it confirms what critics say, that Trump is swamp, that he protects elites, that he lies about everything. This connects to other Trump corruption. He's hiding Epstein files while attacking judges, while defying court orders, while weaponizing DOJ against Jerome Powell, while pulling security from people he views as enemies. Pattern is clear. Trump believes he's above law, that rules don't apply to him, that he can do whatever he wants, and anyone who challenges that gets destroyed, gets insulted, gets threatened, gets their career ended. Think about what survivors must feel watching this. They came forward, gave testimony, relived trauma, helped investigations, did everything right, and government is betraying them, is hiding their statements, is protecting abusers, is breaking promises. That's re-traumatizing, that's telling them they don't matter, that powerful people are more important than their pain, than their justice, than their healing, and Trump doesn't care. He cares about protecting friends, about hiding his connections, about avoiding accountability. Survivors are just collateral damage, just inconvenient truth, just problem to be managed by insulting congressmen and breaking laws. That's who Trump is. That's who he's always been. And now he has presidential power to make cover-up official, to use Justice Department for obstruction, to punish anyone who demands truth. Bottom line is this: Trump turned against Republican Thomas Massie after Massie demanded Epstein files be released, called him loser who needs psychiatrist, attacked him for enforcing law Trump signed, DOJ violating Epstein Files Transparency Act by releasing only fraction of documents despite December 19th deadline. Reports say Trump told MTG on speakerphone files would hurt his friends. Epstein survivor Haley Robson sent letter to judge requesting special master to force compliance, asking for basic documents including victim statements and prosecution memos. Wrote that continued non-compliance perpetuates same secrecy that allowed crimes to continue. Trump's behavior shows guilt as innocent people don't hide evidence or attack transparency advocates. This story continues. Stay tuned.